Okay, we're back for round 5. Going for the clean sweep at 4-0 right now. And a very interactive hand, and any token maker is going to be good. So it's probably enough. I certainly don't really want to mulligan this. Oh, opponent get mulligan? Yeah, so I think we're better off just keeping here. Don't want any disasters. Mulligan and bottom, so that's good. Ooh, what is this? Fairies, huh? Okay. Well, drawing Bitter Blossom and having Intangible Virtue is awesome. So let's go. Let's just get a swamp. There's a way we lose this with them having more fairies than us and Bitter Blossom killing us and them stalling out. Oh, Merfolk. Okay. The question is, I mean, I guess this delays their plays a lot. So they have nothing, and then we can eventually path the master. We just got to leave that up on turn 4. I think that's fine. I don't want him to start beating in with Mutavaults, and I have to make bad blocks or trades with, 3/3 Mutavaults. So yeah, with a path in hand, the master is not that scary. They don't have any discard. They do have counter spells potentially, but I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. So we're gonna go Plains, Blossom, and again another matchup where just Bitter Blossom and Tangible Virtue is awesome against them, but we could go History of Benalia. Probably should go History of Benalia. Will put me at 12. And we do have, oh, okay. I was gonna say we do have Blessed Alliance to gain life. Let's, yeah, let's do this. And the next turn we've got like, can either go Virtue or Brutality and then be able to path the Master Waves. So I don't think they'll be attacking anyway. Plus, we didn't make this video series to not play History of Benalia, so let's just do it. Although Spell Pierce would be really bad right now. Okay. Yeah, I should have considered that. Spell Pierce could have been tough. Dismember, sure. Not a problem. And I think if they do attack, I'll just take the 2. If they play Master Waves, that's ideal. I think it's fine. I have all removal spells in hand. I want to keep my board presence. Okay, see, all removal spells. Could Brutality to duress them, but I think I'm just gonna do this. And then I have path and push up. And I don't know what they do against that. I don't want them to tempo me out somehow and, risk not casting a life gain spell and then Bitter Blossom and then maybe a couple other attacks like knocking me down. Sure, that's fine. So I want to kill this now, probably. I could also wait and bait them into playing Master of Waves and then maybe hit the Trickster or just hit the Master. And they could have counter spells up, but that's okay. If they're using a counter spell, that's fine. I'd rather them counter a removal spell when I have blockers than counter something like Collective Brutality if I'm trying to gain life, or Blessed Alliance if I'm trying to gain life. Sure. So they're trying to set up the Master. Turn target tap creatures on his hand. So that's kind of annoying. Not the worst. And okay, so we'll see what we draw, but we could Brutality to gain life and kill a creature. Maybe just kill a creature. And I think these are all the same. So it doesn't really matter what we push. I think I just want to push. And then we'll get to attack for a bunch, which is nice. Thing is, I don't really want to discard anything. Jeebus. So like I said, I don't really want to cast History of Benalia and tap out, leaving myself potentially dead to, who knows, some sort of like cryptic and attack me or whatever. So I want to be able to leave life up. Bitter Blossom should be enough of a threat on its own. So I could discard the History of Benalia to Collective Brutality if I want to. I want to say like kill a creature and gain life. Could also discard Blessed Alliance. But yeah, we might be able to use the Brutality to actually deal the last 2 points of damage the following turn. So I think I'm just going to pass, leave open Blessed Alliance to just to gain 4 life if anything scary happens and I still have Path to Exile up. Because I think I'm very far ahead in this game, and I just want to make sure that nothing crazy happens that I lose from this position I'm in right now. Huh. I think I might just do this. I don't know what they're representing here. Maybe just blockers? But I have plenty of removal spells. I don't want to not use my mana. Alright, definitely don't need another Bitter Blossom. So now that is something to discard. And we do have the path. Sure. Don't know that I care about this. I think I just want to save the path for Master of Waves. So let's do this. I think I'm just gonna drain since they're almost dead. I could duress them, but if they have a counter spell, they're going to counter it anyway. This puts them at 3 and pretty much guaranteed to be dead next turn. Puts me at a healthy 12 with Path to Exile up. So this is kind of what I meant about them blowing me out like this, potentially. I don't know why they didn't do that before damage. It's kind of strange. So they have Master Waves and Unknown, so I can basically either path my own fairy token, but then I don't have an answer for Master Waves, but I'll have lethal in the air the following turn. Or I can let this happen, path a Master, and then build up again with Bitter Blossom and History of Benalia. I mean, there's no way they have, like... I don't think they have any other answers. So... let's do this. This way we can cast History and still have Godless Shrine up. Okay, so they're just trying to draw into another Echoing Truth or something, basically. Ah, they did have it. Alright, that's kind of tough. But Sorin's gonna be good. I guess I could have Sorin made a flyer, and then I would have been lethal the next turn. But then they attack into Sorin, and I don't really want that, so... Yep. Double Echoing Truth main deck seems really weird. But... that's what they had. I'm gonna just leave a card open. If I play my land, that doesn't save me from Spell Pierce anyway. Okay. So this trades for any 2 creatures. So I'm not gonna wait for the trigger the next turn. I just need to start getting in there. Okay. So now I just don't need to block. That's fine. I mean, I want to keep Sorin alive to make my fairy lethal. But I'm at high enough life total that that's all that matters, really. And Harbinger does nothing because I have Vigilance. Okay, cool. So it's kind of what I meant of didn't really want to die to something like this, right? That this game ended up being closer than it looked originally, but kind of doubt that they're gonna have double double Echoing Truth every game. So what's good here? Zealous Persecution's awesome here. All my token makers are good. Thoughtseize is bad. I mean, kind of like Affinity, like you want to take some things from their hand, but in general, you're going to empty their hand, and late in the game, it's terrible. Inquisition hits almost everything except for Master, but I do have 8 ways to kill Master. 4 paths, 2 push, 2 brutality, actually start finish. Zealous Persecution also, I think Master Waves is a 2-1 if I'm not mistaken. So I have a lot of ways to kill it. Although Wrath on the draw is interesting. Plenty of land destruction for Mutavaults. So the other question is Basilisk Collar. Gains life pretty well. And makes my 1/1s kill even pumped up Merfolk. Question is, do I cut more Thoughtseize for Wrath of God and Basilisk Collar? I think Bitter Blossom's kind of slow, but it is good. Let's trim a Bitter Blossom, and I don't know if Collar's worth it. It's kind of slow. Let's go Wrath. I think Wrath's better. Yeah, because I can go 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. Can't really argue with that. And then we'll see what I draw, depending on what I draw, I can choose when to play Vent. Okay, so, oh, Aether Veil, okay. I was gonna say this kind of tells me they don't have much going on, but I'm about to find out. Usually turn 1 Mutavault means they're planning to attack with Mutavault turn 2. Do I care if they Spreading Seas me? I care about the card, but I have plenty of mana. So let's steal their 2 for 1, I guess. So they don't get a chance to cast that. Probably gonna go Spreading Seas. Yeah, but luckily I have plenty of mana. Unfortunately, Brutality does not take enchantments like that. So I think I would play Vent because I have nothing to play, but I don't want them to be able to cast Spreading Seas. So I'm gonna end step, crack my fetch, just get a Godless Shrine, and then I mean, I have all the mana I want. Obviously, I could then, if I played Shambling Vent, lets them do Spreading Seas, then I can still Courtyard Lingering Souls, and then fetch a land and play Sorin, but I don't think that's a big deal. I think just still gonna go Courtyard Souls. And then I can go Souls the next turn. With a tap Shambling Vent and then play Sorin after that. So yep, sounds good. So they can kill it with Harbinger now, but that's okay. I think I want to wait to play Sorin until I can protect him pretty well. So I might be just casting these Brutalities. Okay, we knew about that one. And I don't think I want to drain them, at least not with the first Brutality. That's where Spreading Seas is annoying. So I can go Souls or Brutality, kill something. I really want to look at their hand though. Could discard Inquisition to try to duress them. Or I could discard Brutality. So the following turn, if I don't draw a land, I can flashback souls, and cast brutality. So I think I'm just gonna start picking off their creatures, and then I'm gonna be limited on colored mana, so I might not be able to cast this Inquisition. And I want to be able to see what's in their hand and kind of script my gameplay. Yikes. So they have a lot. Well, they need to draw an island to play either spell, or they can keep Violet 2, which makes it harder for Master Waves. So basically tells me I have some time, but not everything. And again, it's just a matchup where Lingering Souls tokens plus Sorin should run away with the game. So I just need to stay alive for that long. Path is good, so can go brutality or souls. I think I want to go souls, leave open path, because I'm going to need to kill Lord of Atlantis. And maybe I'll just save the brutality for Master of Waves later. Ah, so Atlantis, and then they'll tick it up. Sure. That's okay. So I can either Path Lord now, not let them draw a counterspell, or bait them into attacking with the Silvergill Adept. I don't think they have room for counterspells and Echoing Truths, but who knows? Might attack with Mutavault. I think I want him to tap out so that I can cast Sorin next turn. Thing is, I'm going to have to do a lot of chump blocking. Right, so they drew an island. What? Oh, they have Island Walk. Oh, crap. Yep, so that's what they were doing. Okay. Well, it seems like they drew the... Yeah, it sucks. They drew the land that turn. They must have had the Deprive already, so... Oh, but they wouldn't have been able to cast it. So I should have done that. Shit. Well, I mean, it's good to know about. So what would have happened? They would have attacked for 6. I could have blocked the Adept. They would attack for 4. I would have got a 9. From 9 to 5. Drawn an Arid Mesa. Played Sorin. Cast Inquisition. I guess I would have cast Inquisition first, taken their Deprive, cast Sorin. They would have been left with these 2 cards, and I would have had lifelinking 2/1s against their 2/2s, and the game would have been great. So that was unfortunate, but again, it's just cards I don't know if I've ever seen this card. It just seems like a weird... You think they'd run something like Mana Leak. All right. I think I like sideboarding though. They have a good amount of interaction, so Caller's not going to do much, and I think 6 discard spells is fine. Yeah, that was brutal. I think we would have won that game. This hand is really weak to Spreading Seas. But it's all removal spells, so, and an eventual threat. I'd love something like a Bitter Blossom now. Okay. So I play Ghost Quarter, and then if they try to Spreading Seas my vent, I can hit the vent so they don't draw a card, and I still end up with 2 lands, which is kind of all I need for a while. It might be best. Man, so I would have won that game. It's frustrating. So this obviously is bad if I draw another Courtyard, because then the second one's going to be tapped no matter what. The air for white because of the history of Benalia. And I stand by this play. Bitter Blossom, Inquisition. Cool. Inquisition's good. That'll help me figure out my game plan here. Vial and Adept. Okay, so I'm definitely taking Spreading Seas. And if they draw Merfolk now, that's pretty annoying, but it's not totally the end of the world. Yeah, Spreading Seas is a really annoying card. Problem is both blue-white and... Oh, shit. That's right. They get to draw the card anyway, not just if they reveal a fairy. Brutal, okay. Do I care to path one? Just for mana efficiency's sake? I want to give them more mana when they have a Conclave out, but I don't know that it's getting any better. They have an island in hand, they have a live Aether Vial, I don't think it really matters. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's kill that. Now they have Vial, Island, and 1 unknown in their hand. And I have 2 removal spells up. I'm going to take the hit, because I don't think there's a lot of outs to this card. It's still at 20 life. I'd rather save my push for something better. Oh wait, they still have an island in hand, okay. The other island that they got was from that, okay, so 2 conclaves means Sorin Plus will go down. Bummer. I think I have to wait. Maybe push something, take the damage. Could always just, if I make a token, then Sorin dies, but I get a 2/2. Yeah, it's only getting worse. You need to draw like a Lingering Souls or something. Bummer. So now Wrath becomes pretty bad. Well, Zealous Persecution would be good. Gideon's good. Gideon is good. So now being able to 0 and make a token is great. So now if they attack with both, Gideon will go down to 2 and I'll trade with Mutavault. Unless they have something with Aether Vial. They do not. Not yet, at least. Could obviously draw something like a Trickster. But if we can untap with Gideon, that would be good. So then we can also play Sorin and decide exactly what we want. Well, hopefully we draw something else. I'm going to let Gideon take the damage here. Souls is almost perfect. Well, I guess I could cast Brutality to kill this, discard souls, and then play souls. It's not the worst. Kill creature. Guess we just drain them. Because need to kill the Master away, or the Lord this turn, but I also don't want to not cast anything else because I couldn't cast with 5 mana. Obviously would have been ideal, but I didn't want to not have anything. And then I should have enough blockers. Well, so if they got an Echoing Truth, they can kill my Gideon in the air anyway, so let's just attack. Now if we can untap with Gideon and cast Sorin, we're in good shape. Wow. All right, everybody. There it is. The big 5-0. 16 chests? That's awesome. These are going to be great for me. Wow. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's do a... That's sweet. So what did they have? Just nothing? They just gave up there? They didn't even see the sword in my hand. Cool. All right, well, I feel that was kind of deserved because the play I was going to make in game 2 to path their Lord before the draw step would have worked out better. So okay, let's do this. So let's do a little wrap up quickly. We'll keep this in the same video. Obviously great result, but we're trying to be a little more scientific here. Can't just say that this is the reason I won. We definitely had some good matchups, right? We played basically all creature decks. I guess Ponza's somewhere in the middle. It's a weird deck, but we did play against, humans is a tough one for us generally, and green-white can outvalue, and obviously like that the Martyr Sands long game deck, but is one that tends to grind out even more than us potentially, but still we're all creature decks, right? We didn't like face a storm or an ad nauseum or anything like that, where History of Benalia is, I guess, good because it's a faster clock, kind of. I mean, I guess on turn 5 you're attacking with 8 to 10 power, which is big, but it's still turn 5, which isn't that fast. But coupled with brutalities and discard spells and whatnot, against something like Storm or Ad Nauseam, it is pretty fast. Because usually you can delay those matches or those games a couple turns enough where History of Benalia is stronger than Lingering Souls. The other thing that was good, obviously they got dealt with, so I didn't get that third stage that wasn't relevant very often. Like usually they had killed one of my tokens and I got to attack once with a big creature, which is very good. And it's hard to know what kind of impact that has later in the game. Obviously, if you attack them for, 4 or 5 damage, if maybe they can't block because they had a 2/2 out or something like that. Putting them at 4 or 5 less life does make them play differently. So it's kind of hard to say how those games would have gone. But I think just the fact that you're getting 2 2/2s for the 3 mana is really good. Again, the delay sometimes was good. Other times would have been nicer to have the 2 2/2s out at once, but obviously that card would be pretty bonkers as well if it was just 3 mana for 2 2/2s at once without the 3rd stage. I think that card would be very good also. But unlike Lingering Souls, what it does nicely is that it's just the 3 mana. You don't have to cast it for flashback. So you have your 4th turn available to do anything you want. So there were some games where I just did this and then expected the next turn to like cast Brutality in a path or something like that. And furthermore, the pump is also free. So whereas Lingering Souls on its own isn't great unless you're a really grindy slow matchup, but against the creature decks, just the 1/1s don't do much. He really needs to be backed up with Virtue or a Planeswalker. And obviously the Virtue is great, the flying is great with Virtue, but even these, going from 2/2, which is a relevant creature, up to 3/3, which is a very relevant creature, if you have a Virtue out, and then on turn 4, you don't need a Planeswalker, you just have 2 2/2s or 3s, so I think that potentially is really, really strong. Again, having the open mana to where your creatures are real threats, I mean pretty real threats, even without having to cast anything on turn 4, whereas your Lingering Souls are best if you can back it up with a Sorin or something like that. So it is something to keep in mind. I did like the card. Again, I knew I was going to like the card. It's just a matter of does it fit well in this deck, and I think it's just going to require more testing. The other thing I was thinking just from playing these games is, again, Legion's Landing's coming more and more underwhelming. I don't know if the metagame's changing or whatnot, but it used to be that just having that early token was great as a chump blocker or to get in, get in 2 or 3 points of lifelink damage against a storm or something like that. But we're getting some bigger decks to where we're not always on the offensive until a lot later, in which case we kind of mulliganed. Because all we got was a 1/1 that didn't do much for us, in which case like maybe this would be better as Blessed Alliance actually kind of impressed me. Again, we played against all creature decks, so it's really hard to say that. I'm going to keep trying it out main deck. I think it is a better sideboard card overall, but and who knows, maybe it's just to settle the wreckage and the sideboard is just way better and this isn't necessary, because this does target the opponent, so it's bad against Leyline anyway. But yeah, I think this was good because we were playing against all creature matchups. The only thing that's relevant with the landing, though, is there were a lot of games where I felt kind of choked on mana, even at 24 lands. Maybe that was just how these games felt. Again, because they were playing against like more aggressive creature decks to where I wanted to dump my hand early. Whereas if you're playing against more control decks, it feels like you flood out more often because they deal with all your threats and then all you have is lands. And so in those matchups, you are hoping you have less lands and more spells. So again, it can't judge it based on these 5 matches alone. But what Legion Landing does is it does let you, try to get a land out. It kind of ramps you up a little bit if you need it. If you're stuck on 3, maybe you already cast the Souls and you had a Bitter Blossom token out, you just, even if you're suiciding, or maybe even a start to finish, maybe you're just suiciding some of your tokens. But at least you're getting that land, and then you can follow it up with a Sorin or Gideon, or follow it up with a flashback Lingering Souls and cast Intangible Virtue or something like that. So that is getting the 4 mana is important here, and having some way of ramping up is pretty good. So I'm not sure yet. I'm not sold yet. I'm gonna keep keeping one in the decks just to test it out. But overall, I think this was a net positive. It's pretty sweet as just a resilient token builder, and I do like that this brings us up to 12 exclusive token makers, plus the 4 planeswalkers, which also make tokens. Gideon was awesome. Maybe I just wasn't giving him enough credit. I've been playing Lord of Innistrad, but making 2/2s instead of 1/1 lifelink seems pretty good, even though Sorin takes up when he makes the 1/1s, so it's kind of hard to say. The other thing, again, what I was looking at is if I replace landing in this build right now, I'd want another start to finish, maybe another History of Benalia, but then we're bringing our curve up to all 3s again. So we're having more 3-drops, which is kind of risky. So having something to do turn 1 that's proactive is, other than the discard spells, is good. So not sure. Those are my thoughts. Not sure on sideboard really. Again, the matchups are all similar, so I kind of did the same thing. I kind of like this setup first. Zealous Persecution seems like it's something that maybe we should be adding in more. It was good in a good amount of matchups, so I'm going to keep that in mind as something that's better than Wrath, potentially. Definitely in the History of Benalia builds. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Glad we got a good result for these videos, and look forward to doing more soon.